Have you ever felt that unmistakable sense of anxiety creeping in when your phone isn't nearby? Your fingers twitch as you try to resist the urge to check for new notifications. When you get to a place, you sit down and pull out your phone, looking for something, anything to do within the 6-inch screen in your hand. I've been there, but as the clock of life keeps ticking, I want nothing more than to live intentionally and be present for every moment. After a few years of living as a zombie, I've broken free from the mindless cycle. In this video, we'll dive into what's on my iPhone as a digital minimalist, if you want to call it that. I'll also reveal the conscious choices I've made to declutter my digital life, reduce anxiety, and regain control over my time and attention. Nearly 53% of mobile users in the US experience the fear of not being able to use their cell phones. Let's vow to not be one of those people right here, right now. Let's jump into my iPhone. I have a few options for my lock screen. I love changing the wallpaper depending on the season and my mood. For example, here's my lock screen for those extra hard days. Before I unlock my phone, let's talk about notifications. I love tech. I had a Palm Pilot when those came out, and that was a game changer for me. Being able to hold essentially the entire world in the palm of my hand has always and will always amaze me. Back in 2007, I bought the first iPhone. When I set it up, I turned off all notifications and set it to silent. To this day, this is still how my settings are. My phone never rings. The only calls that get through are from the important 5 people who I think should be allowed to get through. Otherwise, everyone—
You mean everyone?
gets sent to voicemail. The same goes for my other apps and my texts. My text messages only have the badge notification on the icon. That's it. There's no buzzing or any beeping. The idea of being available all of the time for everyone is suffocating to me. So I've eliminated that expectation. My friends know and they're cool with it. Well, some of them. As soon as I unlock my phone, what you see on the screen is pretty much what I have. I have this rule where if I can't see it, then it shouldn't exist. I apply this to all areas of my life, meaning if I place something at the back of a drawer, I probably won't see it often. So I probably won't use it often. So it probably should not exist in my life. Finding ways to organize mountains of things, whether physical or digital, I think is an excuse to accumulate more things. It's a form of hoarding. Sometimes organizing and creating systems means there are too many things to keep track of naturally. So the real solution is to declutter. I'm constantly removing things from my life and my phone. Perhaps 6 months from now, my phone will be more bare than it is today. I love having my calendar app at the top of the screen so I can clearly see any important meetings or tasks for today. The calendar I use is fantastical. It aggregates all of my calendars into one, and I love the design of it. Having this widget at the top like this also lets me see at a glance if it's someone's birthday. That's one of my favorite things. In the first row, I've got the basics: clock, phone, messages, and notes. I keep my clock app simple, using it for my alarm in the morning when I decide to use an alarm, and I use a timer a lot for motivation to get things done quickly. I use notes often. I come up with ideas throughout the day constantly, and this is my go-to app for idea capturing. I also keep a captain's log here, where I write down everything I did every day. This helps me with memory retention, bookkeeping, mindfulness, among other things. Practicing mindfulness has helped me be more conscious about my phone usage. I have a strong understanding of how tech works, and that the brands behind some of my favorite apps obviously want me to be hooked and use their products. By being mindful, I've created a clear distinction in my brain between consumption and addiction. Consumption is making the active choice to continue using a product. Addiction is being dependent on the usage and not having that conscious choice. I know these apps and phones are designed for me to use them often, and by being aware of how the system works, that puts me in charge. In the second row, camera, education, location, and travel. In the camera folder, I have a couple photo editing and capturing apps. One of my favorites is Snapseed. I use this a lot for editing the photos of my Office Today series that I post every week. I also love Retouch for quickly getting rid of spots or cables in photos. For education, Khan Academy is quite possibly one of my favorite platforms. It's 100% free and has courses on a ton of different topics. I have the Udemy app to keep track of the performance of my own courses I have on Udemy. Lastly, this Memorize app has a really cool feature where I can point the camera to an object in the room and it will detect what it is and show me the word for it in Japanese. Location folder is pretty simple. I've got some maps here and apps like OpenTable and Yelp for food. I love food. No, really, I love food. And these are my travel apps. I do have other travel apps like for the different airlines, but I only have them here on my home screen when I am traveling. Otherwise, they're pretty useless, so I don't clutter my screen with them. This Marca travel app is not perfect, but it's what I've used for years to track the countries I've been to. If you're enjoying this video, then please subscribe to see more videos from me every week. Also, share it with the people in your life who you think are using their phones just a little too much, and maybe we can help them out. Or, you know, if they're just nosy and like seeing what's on other people's phones, like my phone, that's cool too. In the last row, we've got money, princess, superhero, and entertainment. In money, I've got a couple of banking and investing apps. Robinhood makes it super easy to invest. I know some people like to make it a controversial app, but honestly, it's so easy to use, and I've used many other trading platforms, and this has been my favorite so far. I use my Apple Wallet app pretty much every day. Fortunately, I live in a place that accepts Apple Pay in all the places I frequent, so I hardly ever have to pull out my physical wallet. My princess folder holds the apps that help manage my life. I use 1Password to store all 300 plus logins I have. You'd be surprised how those add up if you actually keep track of each website you register for. Trello I have been using for many years. I even break down how I use it in my productivity course on Udemy and Skillshare. I use it as my daily planner as well and to organize some of my projects. Files is where I store everything that's on my computer. That way it is accessible wherever I go. I'm an archiver, so I have photos from before I was born. It's always fun to be at a get-together and pull out a photo from a specific moment in my life. It's a wonderful way of tying in my digital life and offline world together. I've pretty much completely migrated away from Dropbox in the past month, but I really like their scanning feature still. It's really convenient to scan a doc and just have it sync to my computer. That's what I'm going to be using the app now for moving forward. The superhero folder has all the apps that secretly give me superpowers that allow me to take over the world. Just kidding, or am I? I am the knight. But actually, it's kind of a continuation of the princess apps in that they help me manage parts of my life, and that's pretty much it. It's important to remember that you own your phone, not the other way around. Even though I use these apps to help me with certain parts of my life, I'm actively figuring out ways where I don't end up depending on them to run my entire life. People are trying to combat their phone addiction with the help of apps that promise to decrease phone usage. And I personally find this only covers up the real issue. It's a band-aid on a leaky boat. The real solution is to figure out why you find yourself attached to your phone and whether it ties into you avoiding another problem in your life. Finding the source is always the better alternative, in my opinion. But I'm not a doctor. I am the knight. Firefox is my default browser both on my laptop and my phone. I use Notion as sort of a dashboard to run my empire, I mean business. But I don't use it to hold everything. I like to own my data, so I save everything locally on my computer as well. Notion just helps me connect the dots. I've got a couple virtual phones for my business, and to be completely transparent, the only reason I haven't deleted WhatsApp is because then that folder would be lopsided and I just can't have that. Unfortunately, it is an app that I do use a lot for travel as well, so
there it is.
And Discord is how I run my community and chat with a couple people. The entertainment folder has a few games. My travel channel on YouTube used to be my gaming channel, so I actually had pages and pages and pages of games, if you can believe it. I have this app, Just Watch, which I use a few times a week, maybe more. I am a movie person. I watch many movies every week. Just Watch helps me find out where I can watch movies very easily and quickly. I also use it to keep track of some of the movies I want to watch or rewatch. Spotify is my only music app. I have a few playlists on here, so I'm just never gonna leave, probably. If you want to listen to my playlists, then head over to my website where I share a list of them there. I have some available for working, studying, driving, reading, conquering countries, etc. The obvious game changer of my phone setup is not having any social media apps. I haven't had Facebook or Instagram on my phone for years, but that's pretty basic advice, I feel. Overall, being extremely conscious of how I use my phone and what kind of apps I use to run my business and personal life has made a huge impact on my day-to-day. I feel present no matter where I go. I have less anxiety in general, and I don't lose precious hours getting distracted by things that don't really matter to me. When I hang out with friends, I only pull out my phone to take photos for my archive, not to hop on social media real quick or to check a notification. I live intentionally as I use my phone as it should be used, as a tool and nothing more, that I can easily put away whenever I choose to not use it. Are you highly dependent on your phone? What are some ways you're overcoming this? Let me know in the comments. I would really love to know. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this video gave you insight into some of the ways I've been able to overcome smartphone dependency. For now, I'm gonna go. So I will see you when I see you. Bye!